So classically, the electron can only be present in region 1, and it is not possible for the electron having energy less than U to penetrate in the region 3. Okay. However, as we discussed earlier, that the quantum mechanics is representing that the electron can have both type of nature, that is a particle nature as well as a wave nature. So in this case, the electron we can represent it like this, okay, with a some wave function psi. Okay, so the electron exhibit the wave behavior, and their position is represented by a wave function, okay, a wave probability function. So now, in order to understand the behavior of electrons in region 1, region 2 and region 3, we represent the behavior of electron with the wave function psi. So psi is a wave function which is associated with the electron in that region. So the wave function represents a finite probability of finding an electron on the other side of the potential barrier. So we know that the electrons are present in region 1, okay, and what is our job is to identify whether the electron could be present in region 2 and region 3, okay, and that we can understand based on the wave function, because wave function is basically providing us the finite probability of finding an electron on the other side of the potential barrier. Since the electron does not possess enough kinetic energy to overcome the potential barrier, the only way the electron can appear on the other side is by tunneling through the barrier. Okay, if the kinetic energy of the electron is less than the height of the potential barrier, energy of the potential barrier, then only one thing which can explain the position of electron on the other side of the potential barrier, and that thing can be explained only by using the quantum tunneling effect. Okay, so as I said, okay, we have three region 1, region 2, region 3. In region 1, as you can see, the potential energy U is 0 in region 1 and region 3, okay, but in the potential barrier, okay, of width L, that is the region 2, there the potential U is not equal to 0. The potential U is not equal to 0. Okay, and to understand the behavior of electron in region 1, region 2, region 3, as we have discussed, we are defining here the wave functions which are associated with the behavior of electron in region 1, region 2 and region 3. Okay, so we have given here some important terminologies that you have to keep in mind. So the y-axis E is basically representing the kinetic energy of free electrons, okay, and in this case the kinetic energy is less than the potential barrier energy of the potential barrier height U. So what is U? U is the potential barrier height. What is L? L is the width of the potential barrier. Now we have defined the wave functions with different colors, and it is showing the different electrons in different region. Now the psi 1 plus represents the wave function of incoming particles in region 1, psi 1 plus, okay, plus is representing that the electrons are get incident from left to right. So electrons are moving from left to right in the region 1, okay, and psi 1 minus, so this is the wave functions which is associated with the reflected particles or reflected electrons in region 1. Okay. So, psi 1 minus what represents? The wave function of reflected particles. Psi 2, what it will represent? It will represent the wave function of particles present in region 2. Okay. And psi 3 plus, it represents the wave function of transmitted particles. So, the electrons which are tunneled through the barrier and reach to region 3, they are represented with psi 3 plus. Okay. And we have not shown psi 3 minus. Okay. Why? Because there is nothing to reflect back, there is nothing to scatter in region 3. So, we are not taking care of those electrons which will get reflected back. It is not possible in the region 3. Okay. So, if this is the situation, then with this we are trying to understand the behavior of particle in region 1, region 2 and region 3. Okay. So, how we can define the behavior of the electrons? We can understand, okay, the behavior of electron with the help of Schrodinger's time independent equation. Okay. So, here let us try to write the Schrodinger's time independent equation for the electrons which are present in region 1. So, we have the equation d square psi 1 divided by dx square plus 2m divided by h cross square E psi 1 which is equal to u psi 1. Okay. So, this is the Schrodinger time independent equation, okay, for the particle which is present in the region 1. Now, in region 1 we know that u is equal to 0. Okay. There is no potential is present. Okay. The potential is present only in the potential barrier region. Okay. So, therefore, the right hand side becomes 0 and the equation can be rewritten as d square psi 1 divided by dx square plus 2m divided by h cross square E psi 1 is equal to 0. Okay. So, let us substitute, okay, k1 is equal to square root of 2me divided by h cross in this equation. Okay. Or you can replace 2m divided by h cross square by k1. Okay. So, the equation become now d square of psi 1 divided by dx square plus k1 square psi 1 is equal to 0, where k1 is equal to square root of 2me divided by h cross. Now, this is a differential, okay, second order differential equation, and we know the solution of this equation, okay, and it comes something like psi 1 is equal to a e raised to I k1x plus b e raised to minus I k1x. Okay. Now, here a and b, they are the coefficients, of that respective term. Okay. So, psi 1 is equal to a e raised to minus a e raised to I k1x plus b e raised to minus I k1x. Okay. And I have shown this in two different colors because this psi 1 is available in two different situations. Okay. So, the first term is basically represent where the e raised to I k1x. Okay. So, a e raised to I k1x is basically representing the incident wave moving to the right. Okay. So, this is the psi 1 plus. Okay. So, this is you can also rewrite this equation as psi 1 is equal to psi 1 plus psi 1 minus. Okay. Because the second term b e raised to minus I k1x, what it is representing? It is representing the solution which is associated with the reflected wave moving to the left. Okay. So, this is moving in the region 1, psi 1 plus is moving to the right and psi 1 minus is moving to the left. So, the what psi 1 is basically representing that in region 1 the psi 1 may have the two different situation. One is the incident electrons and second is the reflected electrons. Okay. Now let us try to understand the let us try to understand the situation or behavior of these electrons in region 3. So in region 3 again the U is equal to 0. Okay. And therefore we have now the Schrodinger's time independent equation as d square psi 3 divided by dx square plus 2m divided by h cross square E of psi 3 is equal to 0. Okay. Again here 2m by h cross square can be replaced by k1 square, and therefore the equation become d square psi 3 divided by dx square plus k1 square psi 3 is equal to 0, where k1 is equal to square root of 2me divided by h cross. Okay. And this, so the solution for this equation, what it could be? It could be similar to what we get for psi 1. So just to represent that we have the wave function which is associated with the electrons present in the region 3. Okay. So we use some different coefficients. So now the solution is psi 3 is equal to f e raised to I k1x plus g e raised to minus I k1x. Okay. But as I said, the g e raised to minus I k1x is not possible because there is no reflection in region 3, and therefore the second term, that is g e raised to minus I k1x, is become 0. So what is the solution for psi 3? So psi 3 is equal to f e raised to I k1x. Okay. Okay. So what is here? Values of a, b and f, these are the amplitudes of that wave. Okay. So basically a represent the amplitude of incident wave in region 1, right? What is b? B is the amplitude of reflected wave in region 2, right? So that is the solution for psi 1. Okay. So here a and b are the amplitudes of the incident and reflected wave respectively. Okay. What is f here? F is the amplitude of the transmitted wave in region 3. Okay. So this is the behavior, okay, of these electrons in region 1 and region 3. Okay. So what you have to understand from this equation is that this equation psi 1 has both the terms, okay, e raised to ik 1x and e raised to minus ik 1x. Okay. So this is basically representing a wave behavior. What is it is representing? It is representing a wave behavior. Also, if you see psi 3, there is also a wave behavior because there is an imaginary part is available in the exponential function. Now, what is our job is to find out what is the behavior of electron in region 2. Okay. So before that, just to summarize, you can see that in region 1 and region 3, the solutions of Schrodinger equation show free particle plane waves as follows. So this is the represent the free particle plane wave. These are the plane waves. Okay. So psi 1 plus the its a solution is given as a e raised to I k1x. Psi 1 minus can be represented as b e raised to minus I k1x, that is the reflected wave in region 1. Okay. And psi 3 plus, which is equal to f e raised to I k1x, that is the transmitted wave in the region 3. Okay. So these are the wave functions which are basically giving you the probability of finding the electrons in that region. Okay. So if you have these solutions, okay, for psi 1 plus, psi 1 minus and psi 3 plus, then it is also possible as to calculate the reflection and transmission coefficient. Okay. It is easy for you now because the reflection coefficient is nothing but r, which is equal to, okay, which is equal to reflected divided by incident. Okay. So r is equal to, okay, modulus of psi 1 minus square, okay, divided by modulus of psi 1 plus square. Okay. So if we take the modulus of this wave function, then we are getting the actual values. Okay. So that is equal to b square divided by a square. So if you know the amplitude of your wave, reflected wave, and amplitude of the incident wave, then you are able to calculate the reflection coefficient. Similarly, you can calculate the transmission coefficient, and it is represented with t. So t is equal to modulus of now here psi plus square, psi 3 plus square divided by modulus of psi 1 plus square. Okay. So that is nothing but the f square divided by a square. So this is just you can find out what is the reflection coefficient and what is the transmission coefficient. The reflection coefficient you can calculate in region 1, and transmission coefficient you can calculate in region 3. Okay. Now let us try to understand what is the behavior of quantum particle in region 2, where u is not equal to 0. Now this is very important, because now here in this region u, okay, in region 2 u is not equal to 0. So in that case, our Schrodinger's equation, that is a time independent equation, can be written as d square psi 2 divided by dx square plus 2m h cross square e psi 2, which is equal to u of psi 2. Because u is non-zero, it will remain on the right hand side. Okay. Let us take that u on the left hand side, and we can rewrite this equation. Okay, so d square psi 2 divided by dx square plus 2m divided by h cross square e minus u psi 2 is equal to 0. Okay, and also you can rewrite this equation as, okay, because I want u which is positive. Okay, so E should be less than u, right? Because we know that the energy E is less than u. So therefore, we can rearrange this equation as d square psi 1 divided by dx square minus 2m divided by h cross square u minus E. Okay, so just to replace E minus u by u minus E, we change plus sign by minus sign, and therefore we have the equation d square psi 1 divided by dx square minus 2m h cross square u minus E psi 2 is equal to 0. Okay, and if we put the value of 2m divided by h cross square u minus E, okay, then okay, so there should be negative sign. Okay, then the new equation will be d square psi 2 divided by dx square minus k2 square psi 2 is equal to 0, where k2 is equal to square root of 2m u minus E divided by h cross. Okay, so this is the equation for the particle, okay, in the region 2. So since the u is greater than E, the solution of this equation can be represented as psi 2 is equal to c e raised to minus k2x plus d e raised to k2x. Okay, so this is the solution of this equation, okay, in the region 2. So in region 2, what we have, we are getting a solution for the Schrodinger equation as psi 2 is equal to c e raised to minus k2x plus d e raised to k2x. Okay. Now, as you can see here, okay, in the previous case there was a in the exponential function there was a presence of I, okay, plus I and minus I. Okay, you can see psi 1 plus is equal to a e raised to I k1x, psi 1 minus, which is equal to b e raised to minus I k1x, and psi 3 plus is equal to f e raised to I k1x. But here you can see for psi 2 the solution is c e raised to minus k2x plus d e raised to k2x. Okay, and this is the representing that it is a non-oscillating behavior, okay, because there is a real functions are available. Since the exponentials are real functions, real quantities, psi2 does not oscillate and therefore does not represent moving particles inside region 2. However, the probability density, okay, probability density of mod psi2 square is non-zero. So if we calculate the probability density, so how we can calculate the probability density? Just by calculating the value of mod psi2 square. Okay, so modulus of psi2 square is basically represent the probability density, and if we calculate that, then it is a non-zero value. Okay, so there is a finite probability of finding the particle within the barrier. Okay, even though it is not showing the oscillating behavior, it is, even though it is showing that the electrons are not moving inside the barrier, its a probability density is non-zero. If it is zero, then we say that the electrons are absent in the region 2, but the probability density is non-zero, and therefore there is a finite probability, there is a very minute, very small probability is there that the electron is present in region 2. Okay, so that is represented in this schematic representation, where you can see that the incoming particle wave function is behaving like a wave, okay, and the transmitted, okay, the transmitted wave function particle is also behaving like a wave, but the region where there is a forbidden region, or the region 2, or the barrier region, the width, in the width of the barrier region, we can see the behavior of psi is non-oscillating. It is not a wave-like behavior. Okay, so there is a decay. Okay, so there is a decay in the probability. Okay, and but there is a finite probability that the psi is present on the region 3. Okay, so suppose now it is also depend on, as I said, it is also depend on the energy which is provided to the electrons. If the kinetic energy, okay, suppose we are here now, let us try to understand this based on two cases, case 1 and case 2. Okay, so suppose in one case, okay, psi is oscillatory, okay, for energy, so E is the kinetic energy of the electron, and if it is greater than V0, okay, in the upper case what we have seen, this is U. Okay, so suppose U is replaced by V0. Okay, now V0 is the height of the potential barrier. Now V0 is suppose height of the potential barrier. Then what you can see, if the energy, kinetic energy of the electron, if it is greater than the potential energy barrier U or V0, then what you can see is that still the waves have an oscillating behavior in region 2. Okay, when it is possible, if the energy of the electron, okay, it is higher than the potential barrier height, okay, then it will just overcome the barrier, and when it just overcome the barrier, it still have the oscillating behavior. But if the energy E is less than V0, okay, so in that case the psi represent that the behavior is decaying. The electron, the motion of the electron is decaying. So with the distance, its energy is going down, its probability is going down. So here the wave function associated with that electron, okay, is represented with psi x, and it is decaying for energy, the kinetic energy, which is less than U or which is less than V0. So this is the case what we look for the tunneling. Okay, so in the case 2, you can see the behavior is in region 2 is no more oscillating, it is just decaying. It is just decaying. Okay, so in case 1, okay, there is no need of tunneling because the energy of the electron, kinetic energy of the electron is higher than the is higher than the height of the potential barrier. But in case 2, okay, the energy of the kinetic energy of the electron is less than the height of the potential barrier, and therefore there is a if the width of the potential barrier is less than this decaying, then there is a finite probability that the electron will present on the other side of the potential barrier. Okay, so this is how a quantum mechanics is basically provides the explanation that there is a possibility of tunneling is take place. Okay, so based on this tunneling effect, okay, we have several examples. Okay, so based on this tunneling effect, we have several examples which we are using practically in our life. So the first example is scanning tunneling microscope. Okay, so first example is scanning tunneling microscope. Its a short form is STM. So basically in this microscope we have a tip, okay, and the surface of the sample. Okay, and when we are when the distance between the tip and surface of the sample, okay, it's significantly reduced, and when the distance remain in few nanometer, okay, then the atoms which are present at the end of the tip, they started to interact with the atoms which are present on the surface of the samples. Okay, and if we apply a small bias across this, then the electron started to transfer depending upon the forward bias or reverse bias. Okay, so in that case there is a transfer of electron either from tip to the sample or from sample to the tip, and then with distance you are able to make a graph of whether the atoms are present there or the atoms are not present there. So in this way you are able to find the position of atoms, okay, with the help of the scanning tunneling microscope. So this is completely based on the tunneling effect of quantum mechanics. Okay, the second example is single electron transistor. Okay, second example is single electron transistor. Its a short form is SET. Okay, that we will see in our some of the next slides. The third example is tunnel diode. Okay, so here it is also called as Esaki diode. Okay, so all these so in this diode, okay, basically there is a tunneling is take place. Okay, so you are aware about the normal diode. Okay, but in tunnel diode its IV characteristics are different. Okay, and what is tunnel diode, how it operates, and how its IV characteristics looks like, that will also we will study in the next few lectures. Okay, the fourth is giant magnetoresistance. Okay, GMR effect. So in giant magnetoresistance also, okay, there is a tunneling of these electrons take place. Okay, so these all applications basically are based on quantum mechanical electron quantum mechanical tunneling effect. Okay, so among these examples in this chapter we are going to see the single electron transistor and then the tunnel diode. Okay, so we will stop here. Thank you.